On this episode of Compass Conundrum, we'll be on part 2 of our adventure race series at Lake Louisa State Park in Clearmont, Florida. Tanya, Ange, and myself had a blast tromping through the woods, participating in Florida Extreme Adventures Race on Your Own, where we raced on foot all over the park. We found some new things, like an entrance to the park that we didn't know existed, and we also learned some things while we were there, like Dean Gilmore, a World War II veteran pilot who crashed in a training series here right there in Lake Louisa. So let's check out this average adventure. So, after we get done with 8, we're just going to reassess and...
What are we looking for?
What
are the things?
Good point. All right, so CP2 is going to be... CP2, we're going to be looking for a campsite located off of the water. CP1 is actual state park entrance, which I didn't know existed. And then CP4, CP4 is a flagpole, and CP8 is a gate at the state park boundary. So that's what we'll be looking for, and we'll take pictures of those. Once again, on my phone, I have the actual picture, so we know exactly what we're looking for. So next step is we take these. Typically, looks like I'll probably be the navigator today. So I'll have this map and these clues in my... I could carry them. I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's not raining today. But sometimes it's nice to just have your hands free, and then the fact that I'm going to be videotaping some of this, it'll be helpful to just have this around my neck and be able to carry it. But when it's raining and things like that, these come in handy. This one's really big, and you might be like, man, that's a big case. But that's because sometimes the maps are bigger than this. Typically, the maps are bigger than this in adventure racing. They typically fill this whole case. But because these were printed from home, that just gives us a point.
So I open the door.
So basically, you take this, put it around your neck, and you can carry it around. And you can set it up lots of different ways, but this is just one way to do it. So, all right, we're gonna put all of our equipment away. And we're gonna go look for some of these checkpoints. All right, so let the adventure race begin. Typically, when Tanya and I race, or even if Ange has raced with us in the past, we would kind of be like jog, hike, walk type of scenario. So it'd be kind of a mix. It wouldn't just be us like sprinting, because a lot of these adventure races are 3-hour races, 4-hour races, 8-hour races, 12-hour races, 24-hour races, 3-day races. So we have a wide variety of races that we do, and of course they're trekking with navigation, mountain biking with navigation, and canoeing with navigation. Like I said, today we're just doing a portion of trekking on our feet, so you guys can get a feel for what that looks like. So hiking along this little trail along Lake Louisa, and we are going to see if we can find our first checkpoint. First checkpoint is going to be campsite. That's what we're looking for. So we're curious to see if we walk up on somebody who has a campsite here, because we were told all primitive campsites were full. So we'll see if we find a campsite on the lake here at Lake Louisa. One of the great things about adventure racing is many of the race directors will scout out locations, and Lake Louisa State Park is really a beautiful park with tons of 20 plus miles of hiking, some great terrain. Typically we wouldn't be this close to open land. We'd be deeper in the forest, and in this race we did get deeper in the forest, but they really do a nice job of taking to some beautiful epic locations, and this trail right along the lake was just beautiful. Beautiful day, weather was great, sky was blue. As always at Compass Conundrum, we want to live, learn, and explore, and we got to do a little bit of that today. All right, so Compass Conundrum, we can't find this campsite, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna double back, or are we gonna go that way? Yeah, I was asking out loud. Like, I'm trying to figure out if we're doubling back here, and then we're gonna double back. Then we're going to see if it's maybe a little bit the other direction, and then we're gonna go back to hit CP1. So we're still focused on a CP2, which is a campsite. Yeah, it should have been an easy one to find, I guess, but we haven't really looked. One of the things we didn't do is, which we normally would do, is we didn't look at a park map to get a better idea of the park map. Yeah, we could have shot a bearing too, but we really don't know where the TA is, because this is kind of weird. Usually in adventure racing you have a transition area that is like established, and I'm not positive. Well, I don't know that the building is the actual TA, but that's all right. We'll find it. So this is a fun part of, that's why we came up with Compass Conundrum. You know, sometimes when you're using your compass, you get a little off, and so you gotta, you gotta what? A puzzle, yeah.
We ain't solving nothing because you ain't got your compass.
That's right. Yeah. So, but that's kind of the name of the game. At Compass Conundrum, we like to live, learn, and explore. And we learned something while on this race. We learned about Dean Gilmore, who was a World War II veteran, and he was doing a training out there at Lake Louisa on November 14th, 1944, and he crashed his plane into the lake and died. But what an honor for them to put this memorial there. And as always, it's neat to learn something new while you're out adventuring. So we continue to double back and try to figure out where we made our mistakes, and well, we're going to show you a little bit of how we get back on track, and it costs us a little bit of time, but you'll see how we did it. Yeah, they got that set up, and I don't know if this is actually like a for real campsite or not, because there's only 2 primitive campsites in this park, so I'm not quite sure if whoever put this race together knows that or not, so I'm not quite sure on that yet. This does not look like a campsite either.
Yeah, we are not where we think we are.
So clearly, when we need to get our map out and reorient ourselves and figure out where our starting point is, because we are incorrect twice now. And this would cost you in a race. You know, this would cost you time in a race, which would be a problem. Tanya's seeing if there's any hidden treasures in there. So we're going to take a moment to look at the map and see if we can figure out where exactly we're at. So let's oh, this is all wrapped around my thing. Let's see if we can figure this out. So Tanya, Ange, and myself, well, we haven't adventure raced in a few years, and so we were a little rusty, and so we had to kind of break the map back out and get back into that concept of, hey, let's get our compass out, let's look at the map, let's orient ourselves to the map and make sure we're at the right place. We determined we were at the wrong place, but that's part of adventure racing is navigation and orienteering and figuring where you're at on a map without anybody else helping you. So let's see if we can figure out how to get to that first checkpoint. All right, so we're looking at the map correctly because we've got our compass out and it's pointing north. So if we look at our compass, we would say north.
Yeah, we're definitely in the right place.
So after looking at our map and compass and doing a double back and going back, and actually we went a little bit further, we determined where we were at. We decided we were going to go back to where we first went, which you didn't see in the video, but we went to a place that we thought was the right location. Come to find out, well, yeah, we were at the right place. But that is part of adventure racing. There's many times when you're going to go to a checkpoint, and if the flag's not there, you have to kind of orient yourself and figure out where you're at on that map. You might have to get your compass out, and you may have to go back to the previous place or at least a handrail to get yourself oriented on that map so you can figure out how to shoot a bearing and find your location. But we found checkpoint 2, which was our first checkpoint that we wanted to find, and here we go.
Those 2 trees right here. We're goofballs. Yeah, it is it.
Right there.
Right. That's it. That tree, that tree.
So they had...
So we did find it.
Okay.
Just take a picture with the 2 trees.
Okay. All right, so we kind of got stumped on this one for a second. And sometimes when you're doing a race, the first CP is sometimes the hardest because you're like, oh, it's obvious. But these two trees were actually in the picture. The actual campsite portion that was in the description is not present. So that threw us for a loop. So we actually backtracked and went a different direction and came back and realized, hey, these are the two trees that are in the picture, the ones you see behind me. So, so we found CP2. Now we're going to go try to find CP1. CP1, we're going to kind of come back and there's a boardwalk and we're pretty confident. Once again, mistake number one is we probably should have taken a measurement from CP2 to CP1, but CP1 is a pretty distinct landmark and has a pretty good, what we like to call handrails. That's what we call them. A handrail is something that is easily identifiable, meaning like park boundary, gate, fence line. Could be when you're out in the wilderness, it could be like a run of dry wetland or what looks like a run of trees. So we use those guidelines, handrails to kind of as guidelines to kind of help us orient ourselves on the map. So anyways, looks like we're going to take this marker down to our boardwalk down to another entrance to the park that I didn't know existed. I thought there was only one way into Lake Louisa State Park. So we're gonna orient ourselves with the map and see if we can find this other entrance. So after leaving the boardwalk, we took this kind of gravel road through this tree line. It was beautiful out. I can't express how much fun it is to go out and get outdoors when the sky is so blue. And this particular time in January, it was epic. We loved the views, got to see some beautiful scenery in Lake Louisa State Park, even while we were adventure racing. We weren't racing fast, as you can see, but we had a blast hiking and trekking and orienteering and finding our way around this park. We also got to see some planes flying over. You're going to see those in just a second. For those of you that are old enough to remember, the plane, boss, the plane, the plane. Looks like we're coming up on our CP number 1. It is going to be the park entrance sign. We'll take a picture with it, and then in traditional adventure racing, you would have an orange and white flag. It's like a square, and it hangs off of an item, and it has a little punch. Some of them are electronic, so you just like electronically code yourself in, or you punch it on a piece of paper, and you got to keep that paper. I like the paper ones because every once in a while a race team will lose their punch, and if they lose their punch, they're disqualified, and that's brutal. But when you're racing, all those little things are advantages at times. So kind of interesting concept there. But yeah, we're gonna find this state park sign here in just one moment, and hopefully we found another entrance to Lake Louisa State Park that we didn't know existed. Yeah, the CP. All right, so this is CP1, and this is the entrance to the park. It's on the stone. It looks like they might have updated this. If you guys want to stand in front of it, I'll take a picture. But this is CP number 1. Well, we hope you enjoyed another average adventure with Compass Conundrum as we finished up part 2 of our adventure race series at Lake Louisa State Park. If you enjoyed this average adventure, make sure you click that subscribe button below. It's the orange and white logo in the middle, the circle one. Click that for us, please. And if you want to learn more about adventure racing, well, go to the description sections. We'll have all kinds of links that you can check out about this type of racing. As always, we hope you live, learn, and explore.